start doing some moving stuff. So this is moving Qigong. So we're going to bring this meditative experience into physical movements. And so I encourage everybody to just go ahead and join me. You don't need a lot of room. You just stand up, move your chairs back and stand up. And you want to start with your feet pretty close together. Now in Tai Chi, we have a couple of physical references I need to mention real quick. One is what we call the vertical axis. We think of a rod of energy that runs from 12.5 feet above us right down through our core, 12.5 feet down into the earth. Now the first time I heard that, I thought, okay, that sounds pretty weird. A rod of energy running from 12.5 feet above us right down through our core, 12.5 feet down to the earth. But there's a couple of reasons for that. One is it gives you a sense of posture alignment. But the other thing is we practice what the Chinese call sinking, where you let your knees bend and you just let yourself just sink, and you know that this rod of energy will hold you up. And what it does is it lets you let your body relax. So it's called the sinking. So we'll play with that in a moment. Now, great athletes, they naturally move from the dantian. That's why they're great athletes, because their movements are often down here. But for the rest of us, we have to practice. We have to practice moving from the dantian. So this is where we'll start moving around. So with your eyes closed, the tip of your tongue touching your gums up there behind your top two teeth. And then think of letting that breath start from your dantian and feel all the way up through your lower lungs and upper lungs, all the way through the chest. On that sighing exhale, let the shoulders relax down and let the knees bend just a little bit. They just kind of give, and we just sink under the support of this vertical axis, this rod of energy. Internal organs are getting a nice loosening stir, being massaged inside it. The torso rotates. And you can actually think of the internal organs exhaling, and you can just feel them give. They'll let go deeper, become more massageable. The lungs are massaged inside the moving chest, the heart between the lungs. Good. Now go in the other direction with the rotations and enjoy how different it is when you go the other way. All other aspects of this get loosened and open. Nice full breath. For years, all I ever taught was a Tai Chi long form. I was like a kind of very rigid, I thought everybody had to learn the long form. But then many years ago, I got an opportunity to go around the country and start teaching for Parkinson's groups. And so I created a short form out of the long form. It's the beginning and the end of the long form. So I tried to incorporate as much of the mobility as possible into just like a 6-7 movement short form. And I was amazed at the benefits that people were getting out of just a short form. And it's way easier to learn. It doesn't mean that I don't encourage people to learn long form, if they get hooked on this stuff. But the short form has all these people that you saw with high blood pressure and the diabetes and all these benefits. These are all short form people that are getting all these benefits. So in Tai Chi, what it is, it's a series. It's like a dance repertoire. It's like you learn these 6-7 movements. I'll just show you what the short form looks like really quick, and then I'll show you how to do a couple of moves. This is what the short form looks like. And when people do it, they're doing the same thing every time. And then when they finish it right there, then they just kind of make up a move to come back to the beginning, and then they just keep looping them like that. So when you're going through the Tai Chi movements, you have all these physical benefits. Tai Chi, it gives you all the same cardiovascular benefits as modern impact aerobics. It burns the same calorie burn as surfing. So if you do an hour of Tai Chi, you're burning the same number of calories as a surfer surfing for an hour. You don't know what surfers look like. So that's good. But the other thing too is there's this mental component, because you're going through these. When you're going through it, it's very mindful. They call Tai Chi mind body. So when you're practicing these techniques, because we begin it with the sitting relaxation therapy. Now all these classes can be modified depending on what groups are doing it, so that it can best serve whatever population is going to use it. So I don't want you to feel like it rigidly adheres to this. I just wanted to give you an introduction to all this. But whichever population Tai Chi classes are geared towards, it can be modified to work best in those situations. But the great thing about Tai Chi is you bring this awareness inside the body through the Qigong, the sitting Qigong, and the moving Qigong, And then when you're doing the Tai Chi, it's very mindful. So when you're sinking your weight from one leg to the other, you're very aware of your postural alignment and how you're sinking your weight, and then the movement of the next leg, and positioning in the next leg, and then the sinking into that leg. So it's very mindful. As you're going through it, you know, it's a mind-body experience. So you have all these physical sensations that are going on, your postural alignment and all those things, but also that mindful sensation. You can feel the heel spreading on the floor. You know, as you do this over and over and over again, your mind is free because you don't have to, you know, after you memorize the short form, then you can, you know, you'll experience the heel spreading on the floor, and then the ball of the foot, and the pads of the toes, and the sinking of the weight down through that leg. And I think there's something about that mindful aspect of Tai Chi that is so effective as far as neuroplasticity and the increasing brain size and cognitive skills, increasing cognitive skills. And you know, these are the kind of things where, you know, for decades we'll be trying to figure out exactly how it mechanically works. But what we do know at this point is that it does work. So I'll just show you a little bit of Tai Chi form. So this is called the horse stance. Your feet are about shoulder width apart, and your knees are a little bent. You just kind of sink. We call it the horse stance because it's like you're sitting down on a saddle. Full breath. And just let go of trying to figure all this out. Just look at this like a form of entertainment. We're just going to go floating down this river of sensation just for the fun of it. Nice full breaths. And on those sighing exhales, it's as though every one of the 100 trillion cells that we're made of, we just let go of everything.
What led me to Tai Chi, February the 6th, I had a stroke. My whole right side was paralyzed. I couldn't afford for physical therapy, so this is better than physical therapy. It's hands-on, and it's really been beneficial to me. I'm getting most of my movements back. It's really been beneficial to me.
So you've really noticed some mobility?
I've noticed a huge, tremendous change, physically and mentally.
Three years ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes type 2 and began a regimen of insulin once a day. I started out at 20 units of insulin per day, and then gradually watched my diet, did my walking, and got it down to 18 units. And then last December 2012, I started the Tai Chi, and by April 2013, my doctor took me off of insulin, and since that time, I have lost 20 pounds, 65 years old, and in better health than I've been in a long time, thanks to Tai Chi.
coming to Tai Chi over a year ago. And before that, I thought I had left weak knee. I had problems, going up and down the stairs. And I didn't have any injuries to my knee. I am a swimmer. I thought I had good muscles, all that kind of thing. So I started coming, and suddenly I realized I had a muscle on my hip that I wasn't aware of all these years. And as I did all the movements in Tai Chi, I realized that muscle was getting stronger, and before I knew it, my left knee problem was gone. I could go up and down the stairs without any problems.
Well, a couple of years ago I decided that it was time I had to do something because my stress levels were getting ridiculous. Yeah, the one medication I was taking, it's, number one, it's quite expensive, and number two, you have to inject twice a day. And what makes it even more of a pain is it has to be taken between an hour before the meal and the time you eat. You can't take it afterwards, you can't take it sooner, you're sort of limited, and if you're like going out to dinner or something, it gets to be a real hassle. And that was one of the medications that my doctor ended up deciding that we should get away from. So I was real happy about that. Plus, sticking yourself every day is not a fun thing anyway. I mean, you sort of get used to it, but it's still not fun. So then with the thing with the diabetes, he asked me if I'd made any changes, and really, the only change I've made has been doing Tai Chi. And 2 years worth of Tai Chi has had a definite impact. And my diet's been basically the same, although I realize that Tai Chi isn't really a heavy-duty aerobic exercise, but I noticed that my weight's still dropping, and of course all that contributes to getting better. His contention is diabetes is a chronic progressive disease, and my contention is that no, it ain't. At any rate, I kept up with the Tai Chi, and then had a blood test, and all of a sudden my A1C was hanging in around 6.7, 6.8, so the doctor started cutting back on some of the medications. And then about a year after that, we had another blood test, and my A1C had dropped to 4.6, and my doctor decided that time to really start getting rid of some medications. So probably in another couple months I'll be due for another blood test, and hopefully I'll be able to get rid of a few more meds.
My name is Lynn Perrin, and I have multiple sclerosis. Tai Chi has really allowed me to improve my balance and my fatigue. Those are two big things with MS, and my fatigue level has really gone down, and it really has helped with all of my symptoms of MS. I have noticed a big improvement on my outlook on life in general, and multiple sclerosis can really bring you down, and I have gotten Bill Douglas's meditation CD, and it really, really helps me to relax and get back on track and just get the negative thoughts out of my mind. And I really, really recommend Tai Chi. I'm reading Bill's book, The Idiot's Guide to Tai Chi, and it has been very helpful and gives me a good perspective on what I need to do in my life.
I've certainly felt that I gained quite a bit from the Tai Chi, working with Bill Douglas, that I've really improved in the flexibility and balance. Those two things for sure. And also, I very much have enjoyed and feel that I've gained quite a bit from the meditation.
My name is Mary Beveridge, and I've had Parkinson's disease for the last 10 years. I started Tai Chi because I had heard that it was good for improving your balance, and it's fulfilled my expectations. I also find that it's both relaxing and invigorating, and even if I feel sort of tired when I'm coming in, I always feel a lot more energetic afterwards.